Welcome back, everybody. The South African Democratic Teachers Union, or SADTU, is endorsing the idea that pupils who are bullies or violent be moved to specialised schools that can deal with their behaviour. Discussions have been held with principals nationally in an attempt to bolster this campaign. And joining us now to talk more about this, we've got SADTU General Secretary Mogwena Maluleke. He's in our Pretoria studios. Good to have you. Thank you for being our guest here on the programme.
Thank you very much for having us.
All right, let's get deeper into this. You basically are proposing a specialised school for violent and bullying youth, indicating that there really is a need for this. How bad is the situation nationally?
We have experienced violence in our schools, and we think that it is now time that we are able to respond to this and we become decisive in order to ensure that these particular learners who have got behavioral problems are not dumped into dustbins, because we don't have dustbins for human beings. They need to also be assisted to ensure that they can discover the potential that they have, and the normal schools are not able to help them. And we have just been experiencing the stabbing of this child, the stabbing of a teacher, the shooting of the learner in one school or another. And we think that it is becoming worse and worse, because our society is experiencing also violence during the protests. And we think that it needs to stop.
Let's talk about how the school will actually work. How will it be modelled? Will it be along the lines of a boot camp, a tough love kind of school, almost like a semi-military school? I mean, these are just some thoughts in my mind, but what is in your mind? How will it work?
Well, as we go around the country discussing with the principals, we have realized, and listening to them, to say, look, there are this type of alternative schools where these schools will then be equipped with the necessary resources, as well as the necessary well-trained teachers to be able to deal, one, with the behavior, but also assist these particular learners to explore their talents, where then we can be able to help these children, work with them in order to ensure that they are able to realize those particular skills. So we're not looking at the state schools that we have had before, but we are looking at skills schools where we afford these particular learners really to explore their inner potential rather than to judge them and expel them from our schools with the potential there in the communities to have postponed the problem and really joining the queues of unemployed youth.
What is the criteria for a child to actually be taken out of a, let's just for this interview's sake, say a normal school, into one of these specialised schools? And how much say do the parents have in all of this?
Look, because this is a debate that the principals and ourselves are engaging in, it is that first and foremost the department has got to ensure that we have got psychosocial services in our schools, where these experts will be able to assist us to say this type of behavior cannot be corrected in normal schools. The last thing that the school would have to see is to have more learners being dropping out of the school because they fear this particular bully. And therefore engage the parents to the extent where there will be a mutual agreement that for the learner to benefit from education, this learner may have to be shifted from that. As I'm saying, it's not the first time we have this type of schools in our country. We have what we used to call rehabilitation schools, but the problem with that, it is that they were only dealing with a behavior and keeping those particular learners. And then the last thing that you want to see is your child coming back having not been assisted to realize his own potential to grow and make a difference in the communities and so forth. We are aware that the jails are full of young children at the age of 15, and we believe that the schools that can be created, utilizing the schools that are being closed down by the Department of Education, where they can be equipped, as I have said, with the necessary resources to support them. We can have excellent sports people, we can have excellent musicians, we can have artists out of these particular children. We cannot afford to dump them in the societies.
Yeah, obviously these will work differently to schools that house juvenile offenders. I mean, the incident you brought up about stabbing fellow pupils and also teachers, would they go to these schools as well, or will that not be for them?
Well, once they have been found guilty of particular criminal activities, obviously they will be in juvenile jails. But we can reduce the number of learners who go there, because if we identify them at an early age and able to deal with the problems that these learners are experiencing, we believe that there will be less children that commit crimes that they find themselves eventually being jailed and so forth. So we think that the approach by the principal as we talk to them is that we must try to implement what could be called prevention, which is better than cure. So we identify them. We realize that the school cannot be able to correct that because the teachers are not well trained to deal with this behavior. 40 learners in front of a teacher, you are not going to be able to do that. But at least highly skilled, well-equipped teachers will be able to assist this. And we have done some research. We have visited the USA, where we have been able to be taken to schools that have really changed the lives of these particular children. Yeah. And we think that model can be implemented in our country.
Thank you for talking to us here on the program. We would love to hear from you. What do you think about this? Is this the way forward? Would you like to see something like this being introduced into our system to help those learners that are facing difficulties and perhaps fall into that dimension of bullies or of violent in their schools? Thank you for joining us here on the program. Elaborating on it, Mogoena Maluleka is the General Secretary of SADTU from our Pretoria studios. Let's take a break. When we return,